Hi, so this is a detailed explanation of how to build the DJDecks preset for a companion. Here I have no external sound card connected, so the solo buttons are solo buttons, and I need to make sure that the master out is routed to something active. It's important here that exclusive solo is turned off and ComCom stays soloed all the time. So let's start building our preset. First, I'll add a track control section, or to be more exact, a stop button for the track called Deck A. It does exactly what it says, it stops everything playing on that track. Its two colors let you know if something is playing right now, and they are preset to do that in a weak red and a strong red, which I'm perfectly fine with. Next, the solo button for this track. It changes its solo state and also gives you feedback on that. Here I want another color for the solo state, so I choose that amber thing up here, which is a mix of both LEDs under the button glowing away at full speed. Now I'll get to the clip slots of that track. Every button like this just represents one of the track slots, in this case the first one. I like the color preset here. Its four colors show what's happening. The first color represents an empty slot, the second color tells me that something is in that slot, the third one says that this something is triggered, and the fourth that it is now playing. Later these slots I choose to have 4 per track, they will hold the clips I'm playing with. Last one for this, some cue points. The two colors for those tell you if that button does or does not hold a cue point. I changed those colors too, so there's always a clear difference between cue and the stop button above them. There's another video on how to scrub and set cue points and stuff. It's very easy. You don't have to cue like on vinyl, it's all quantized. Now watch for example the solo button here. I can change the solo state for that track, which means pre-listening when I'm using my 4-channel sound card. More about clip slots and cue points in that other video. I'll add the XY pad effects on this track now, so I choose Deck A, and from the devices on that track I choose the low pass, of which I'll control the frequency parameter with my mouse. The buttons show if the device is turned on or off. Pushing them turns them on and off. Shift pushing them turns the XY pad component on and off. If this sounds too complicated for you, just try, it isn't. Here I also control the mid-sweep scale. After you have chosen a parameter and a button for an effect, you see a grey box with an X and 2 white boxes saying 0 and 10 next to it. By clicking the X, you can choose if your parameter reacts to the horizontal or vertical position of the mouse, and changing the numbers in the white boxes changes its range. You can also control more parameters per device with just one button. Of course you can still set their reaction on your mouse differently, it's just that on-off button that they now share. Here's for example I control frequency and resonance of the high-pass filter, making it more distinctive. I just push the same button when companion asks me for it, and I don't have to choose the colors for that again. Now fine-tune those ranges I was talking about. I reverse the values for the low pass first. Now the farther away from the left edge of your screen the mouse is, the more audible our effects are. I'll do the opposite for Deck B, so everything will be intuitive. Because I don't want the high pass to be audible when the mouse is far left, I set its resonance low end to 1.82, which corresponds to a Q of 0.71. This can boost low frequencies too much if you're playing around in the low range, but it also allows for smooth fades. Last thing for Deck A, I'll add an effect strip. With this, you can control a parameter with a strip of buttons. Shift pushing any of them will turn the effect on and off. I control the beat repeat on Deck A, precisely its grid parameter, and a strip of 4 buttons should do the trick. When an effect is turned off, the whole strip appears in the color you choose for low, so I make that a weak green. When controlling mixer parameters, the stronger green may be a better choice, because you can turn them off. That's also why when you shift push effect strips controlling mixer elements, they return to their default values, like -0 dB on volume faders or center for panning. Now I repeated the process for Deck B on the right side. Clicking on a label will show you the buttons belonging to them, so when I click on Deck B, all its buttons on the Launchpad light up. All other labels also act in that manner. By the way, you can remove settings by shift-clicking on their labels. The shift key on your keyboard or a companion assigned shift button on the Launchpad will do. I also added the XY pad effects for Deck B, which are the same as in Deck A. The important difference is that the range values are turned around. Now when you're using effects on both Deck A and Deck B, you can imagine yourself crossfading between them. Speaking of which, let's add a crossfader. It's just like the other XY pad parameters you control. Now when you push that button, the crossfader position will change with the mouse cursor position on the screen. Because we assigned Deck A and B to that, we can finally stop crossfading with that complicated outboard mixer. We also make a strip for that, and here's a third possibility of using its colors. There's not really a high and low side to this. What I'm interested in is the position itself. That's why I give high and low a weak orange and make half shine red. Now this strip shows me the position of the crossfader. Pushing a button in the strip will put it in that position. Now before I demonstrate that to you, I'll adjust the beat repeats low ends. I don't need 256 notes with that. Okay, so in a nutshell it works like this. Look at the little crossfader in live. It moves with my mouse when I push the XY pad button, while its position is also represented by that effect strip on my Launchpad. I can also just push any button to go to that value directly. When I push two adjacent buttons, the value is set between them, so you can put the crossfader in the middle position here, although there is no middle button. Now I'll do all those auxiliary buttons in the Utility tab. First, an init button. It does the same thing as clicking the little red circle in the device's corner, loading everything new. It deletes all your cue points, effects gates and tempo saves, but more on that later. Next, I add a view toggle. It toggles the view between track detail and clip detail, so you can always jump between them easily. While I'm up there, I'll add the scrub buttons. They'll always scrub in the clip that you currently see in clip detail. Pushing them with drift makes them go much faster. I also add a switch for the metronome. You can add switches for all the devices too, but we don't need any of those for this setup. Now some kill effects buttons. Though sounding very martial, they just turn off all effects controlled by Companion. I give them different colors for hold. By shift pushing this button, you can save the current state of all your effects, snapshot-like. When you push them later, Companion will turn all your effects on or off accordingly. Shift pushing it again will turn it back into normal kill effects. The two other colors show you if there currently are or aren't any effects to kill, so always keeping an eye on them makes your life easy. The tempo plus and tempo minus buttons do what they say. Usually they increment or decrement the tempo by 1. If you push them with drift, you can take steps of 5. They only change the tempo directly if the tempo gate is open. Otherwise they'll change the gated tempo, which will become your song tempo when you open the tempo gate again by pushing that button. The gated tempo is shown to you right next to live's tempo when the gate is closed. If you push a tempo gate button with shift, it will save the current tempo. Later you can push it to jump right back to that, or shift push again to turn it back into a normal gate. About that shift button, we finally add it now. Even better, we add two. If your thumb happens to be on one of them, you'll always see a clear feedback from the other, plus I like symmetry. Now when we hold that button down, everything is shifted. Now that's our whole setup. You can combine all of the functions freely, maybe you're more of an 8-track studio type. Please let me know of your presets, problems and wishes. If something doesn't work right, please get in contact. I'll get to it immediately and you'll be the first to get a patched version.